All right. So, um, told you I'd come on this weekend and talk about some more stuff. And this time I brought my son on.
Howdy.
This is Alexander. So, what I wanted to talk about was some more thoughts and theories on the FTX scandal. And this is the craziness. FTX um, appears like, if I was just on the outside looking in, like a money laundering scheme.
Is that the one with Ukraine right now, or?
Well, no, FTX is futures trading. It's a cryptocurrency futures trading,
Oh.
cryptocurrency trading system.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, King? All right, so the guy Sam Bankman-Fried comes from a family who is ardent Democrat bundlers.
Mm-hmm.
And this doesn't just apply to the Democrat Party, though it mostly applies to them.
Well, something you'll learn about politicians is all politicians are corrupt. Shocker.
I'm going to turn our sounds up a little bit. So, FTX was even receiving money from Ukraine, which makes me wonder when Rand Paul was calling for kind of an inspector general to go over there and control our money that's going over there, because it's gone missing. And I'm not saying this to say anything bad about Ukraine if you support them or don't or whatever. But money was going over there, that our taxpayer money is being sent over there, and then we have no accountability for what they did with it, where it went, anything else. And Ukraine was sending money to this FTX, which just collapsed. Now, also, the FTX Sam had a buddy who was also into crypto trading, who kind of made it crash. So while Sam is over leveraged, so he received this money and then over leveraged this money out on trades and on speculations and also on buying a lot of property. I mean, we're talking millions in property that he bought for him and his family.
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all with any of these movements.
Yeah. And so,
You know why they call them movements? Because it's a bowel movement.
so some of the money Ukraine was sending money over, and was any of that taxpayer money that went in. Also, people were investing their crypto into this, thinking they would grow their crypto portfolio, and they were turning around and spending this crypto portfolio on other things, such as property, such as his girlfriend. There's a whole story behind it, and I don't know if we need to go into that, but they bought this house in the Bahamas. There were like 9 people living there, men and women, and they were all in a polyamorous pile is kind of how it is. And then there's a lot of kind of like Adderall use, like the stuff you see in colleges for people to study for their exams. There was a lot of that going on. And also, one of the disclaimers on this drug they were using, I forget the name of it, was that it makes you more prone to risky behavior, which just shows up. And then Alameda Research, his girlfriend ran that, which was a gambling speculation firm. And he's laying the blame on her, and she disappeared, and everyone else disappeared. So, anyways, that's kind of just the backstory. But what I want to focus on is, I was listening to Dark Horse podcast the other day, and Brett Weinstein brought up a thought that, what if this was a laundering organization to buy the will of whoever wanted to buy it? And what I mean by that was, what if you put currency in there and they use that to buy politicians, to buy political parties, possibly to buy media outcome, to buy whether it's commercial spots or to just promissory note or invest in a media group at such an amount where the media group would have to listen to your wants and desires.
I mean, do I think it's possible? Yes. Do I think that's entirely what happened? I can kind of sit on the fence of it.
I don't know. That thought sounds intriguing to me.
I could see them doing something similar, but I don't think that's exactly what it was. I think they were hoping to kind of run like a worse version of a bank.
You mean they were trying to Bernie Madoff it?
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to say, hey, we'll invest this out and gamble, but future investment, Ponzi scheme it. And that is true also.
That's just how I feel it really happened.
There seems to be an awful lot of political runaround in this that makes people think that. Where money was, one, coming in from Ukraine, and two, flowing to the political parties.
Well, I think
like they were sending money back around to enrich themselves. And how much of that money possibly maybe made its way into the portfolios of individual politicians.
Oh, I could totally see that happen. I'm just saying I don't think that's what the creator's intent was. I could see that happening, but I can discern those two parts.
Well, again, he comes from a family that is big political donors and packagers.
Which could be how some politicians found out about it and used it for their own scheme.
Could be.
I'm just saying the possibility is there. I don't know the minds of these people.
And FTX has disappeared out of the news. I mean, this guy ripped off millions of people for billions of dollars, and he's in New York giving like TED Talks.
Yeah, that is disgusting.
He's getting away with it. So that's insane. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, well, I don't know. All we've got right now is King on. I know it's outside of our usual time frame. But I don't know. I think FTX is going to shake out pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now for the funny news. We all read early in the week how Donald Trump was hosting a racist to dinner. And the truth has started to come out about that. So we all know who Kanye West is, and he's doing well. He is.
I blame this all on the Kardashians. Whatever the Kardashians date someone, they come out worse for wear and crazy. They might have just drugged him the entire time they were dating.
Okay, so let's lay out the players right now. Player number one, of course, is Kanye.
Which I do think he legitimately has some mental issues right now.
Well, we do know that. Yeah. Well, King, it is a good time to do a show, but not for our usual listener crowd. Okay, so Kanye has some issues going on. Then you've got Milo Yiannopoulos. For those of you who don't know, he had a rise in the right-wing political movement up until, about 2017, 2018. Then he went on Joe Rogan podcast, and I think it was the Peasants podcast, recorded a clip that he said turned him in, and the right-wing party turned their back on him because he talked about how he's a homosexual flamboyant guy, how it was a priest who turned him into that when he was underage, and he kind of made it sound like he was defending it, which I understand. Maybe he wasn't. I'm not saying he was or wasn't, but it kind of got turned into that. It turned the stomachs of the kind of Republican base that he was riding on, and they turned away from him. So he's been out of the limelight for 3 years now. 3, maybe even 4. And then he's back. And he made his kind of comeback working with a couple of Congress people. And then he went on Tim Pool's show and did a show there. And talked about his support for Trump, but also made some talks about revenge. And this comes up here in a minute. And then there's a guy named Nick Fuentes. Now, for anyone not familiar with Nick Fuentes is, I don't know if I want to use any hyperbolic language, but he is, I would call him a white nationalist. He wants to have a white nation. I don't know if he's a white supremacist, but he's definitely racist, or at least very race aware. It wouldn't be fair to call him a racist when I don't know him or any of that, but he talks about how he wants to separate the races. So he is, I would call him a racist, but either way, you can disparage me for that, but I would definitely call him a white nationalist. He doesn't want the different races getting married together and all that. So anyways, he's in the mix. So you've got Kanye West. Everybody knows him. Milo Yiannopoulos. 50% of the population probably knows him. And then Nick Fuentes, which 20% of the people might know him. Nick Fuentes does a podcast, and it is not a, I don't think it's on YouTube or anything, but it's on one of them hosted cable shows or something. Anyway, so they're palling around now. So the news comes out that Donald Trump hosted him. And he was the Nick Fuentes. He was kind of the sole focus of that story. Now, we all know last week Kanye West kind of picked a fight with Jewish people, and that's blowing up in his face hard. And then he pairs up with Milo Yiannopoulos, who on Tim Pool's show said the people want revenge. And people were like, what does he mean, revenge? And that's where this kind of plays in. And then you have Nick Fuentes. And I think, so they go to dinner with Trump. That blows up in the news face. And then they go on Tim Pool's show Monday, and I watched it, and it was kind of difficult to watch because Kanye's coming in with a very late 1920s National German Workers' Party message, and he's coming right out of the gate with it. And Tim Pool, I mean, it was only 20 minutes long till he got up and walked out. But Tim Pool, when he didn't dive right into it with him, Kanye got up and left, and then Milo left, and then Fuentes left. And apparently there's some conversation after that Milo said, oh, no, we're not trying to, disrupt Donald Trump's run in 2024. But it's got all the earmarks. So come to find out that Donald Trump invited Kanye to the dinner, and Kanye brought Milo Yiannopoulos, who is all the information that's come out after from the rest of the people in that conservative movement circa 2018, Laura Southern, well, she did kind of a burn all on everyone about 5 months ago, but that he's kind of a backstabber, and maybe just looking for clout or something. I don't know any of these people. I just know what I'm seeing on the outside.
Well, I mean, it's hard to be a politician and not stab everybody.
He's not a politician.
Okay. What is he then?
He's a hype man.
Oh.
A political commentator, if you will.
Okay.
Now, Could he be getting revenge on Donald Trump for something? Sure. Donald Trump didn't come to bat for a lot of his supporters at the end of 2020, and maybe it's that. Maybe it's when Milo got, kind of pushed out of the limelight. Donald Trump didn't back him up, although I don't know what he expected Donald Trump to do. But some people really they only see the world through themselves, so maybe that's it. But anyways, then, okay, so Nick Fuentes always wears a suit like that Richard Spencer guy did, always dressed, white nationalisty. Well, now he's starting to show up in jeans and a hoodie whenever he shows up with Kanye West. Kanye West, we do know, has been diagnosed manic bipolar, and the word on the street is that maybe he's suffering a manic episode right now, and during this manic episode, acting like a crazy person, maybe he'll come out of this and wonder what he did to his life. But they showed up on Alex Jones' show, and Alex Jones did his best.
Is that the one where he's got like this hoodie mask thing all
Yes.
the way covering his face the entire time?
Yes.
I hadn't seen that, but I saw some memes of that. And I'm like, what are you doing?
I watched it. I had to watch it. And
Was it at least funny?
of course. But it's sad funny. It's like watching someone collapse. But he always stops and then looks to Nick Fuentes for kind of approval. And here's my thoughts on that is maybe Nick Fuentes has no reason to be involved in this, except for it throws a wrench in normal politics, because he wants a political nation that's abnormal. Milo Yiannopoulos, his involvement in this looks like he's getting revenge on Trump, is what it looks like. Now, he's saying he's not, but if he's not, then he is screwing up something fierce. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they know something I don't. All I can say is what I'm seeing on the outside.
Or maybe it's a big distraction, just so everybody's watching this while the other hand does something else.
It could be. I don't know. I can't imagine, because if this is a distraction, what it is doing is it's probably going to knock Donald Trump out of easy 2024 run. He's going to have to fight his way back in. And maybe this fight will be what hones him better. I don't know. But it's going to punch a hole in his desires as of right now.
Well, I mean, if he doesn't run and win this one, I think he might be getting too old to run. I mean,
he's too old to run now.
yes, but I'm saying even more older.
I mean, do we want to have a 100-year-old as president?
No.
I mean, do we want to have him have to do the State of the Union with a quilt over their chair, over their body? But this is, I mean, let's face it. I'm just enjoying this for the comedy. All right. Lori asks, what is the other hand doing is the question. And that is true.
This is a common, misdirection trick, and we won't find out till years later unless we have people paying attention and doing the work. And it's hard to find out too. They're gonna make it hard to find out.
Very true.
It is going on because, sometimes people do crazy things for the sake of craziness.
We are in insanity land right now with this, but I'm enjoying the show. Watching Kanye. Now, the bad thing, here's what I feel bad about. Okay, Kanye, one, there's always been kind of a Nation of Islam undertone in rap music. Not always out and present, but there's been a little bit of that. Nation of Islam. Kanye sounds like he's saying that stuff, but he's got Nick Fuentes on his, pulling the strings a little bit, or at least hyping him up. And I think that's going to do irreparable damage to him.
Oh, yeah.
So if he is in a manic bipolar state, he's going to come out of this and he's not going to recognize his life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's already not going to, but he's not going to, he's going to learn, he's going to lose those personal connections he had. Where right now he's lost all his business connections. I mean, he lost the Yeezy shoes he made. He lost Adidas.
Yeah.
He lost all that. So it is a wild time. And I don't know. It feels like we're ramping everything up to 11 every year right now. And not always in a bad way, but everything's getting ramped up to 11. Fuentes has nothing to lose by hitching his
Wagon.
hitching to this wagon. He's got nothing to lose because he's only going to gain more notoriety. You know, where maybe 1 in 5, maybe, probably not even that. Probably one. If you went to work and asked everyone if they know who he is, out of 100 people, you might get 3.
Mm-hmm.
But in another month, that number's going to easily be 10 or 15. I know who he is because I pay attention to a lot of political politics. And as distasteful as he is, he's in the realm. You've got to know who he is. Oh, King says, did you notice that everyone calls Kanye crazy, but not a liar? Yeah. We don't want to.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah,
Look, do we want those eyes on us now?
We don't want to dive into any of that because that's stuff that has been brought up. I, for one, and I've debated this before. I never want to disparage a whole race or religion all at once. I never want to do that. Because, I mean, that's when you're going to come out and you're going to look around and you're going to say, whoa, you know, you're going to miss some marks.
Mm-hmm.
And there has been arguments made as to, okay, we'll talk. No, we'll leave a lot of that alone. But I don't want, just like I wouldn't want to say every African-American is X or every
white person is
white
Y,
person
or
is
every,
X.
Judge people based off of their personal.
Yeah, I'm a heavy individualist.
Everyone's an individual.
Yeah. But we don't want to dive into that. But Kanye is blowing up any bit of goodwill that he had built up. He's destroying it.
Now, do you think that if this comes out as an actual manic episode, will there be any sympathy for him at the end? Like, I wasn't in my right mind. I couldn't do anything like this.
I don't think so. Now, there is now for the WowPod part of it. Okay, so Harley Pasternak. All right, so Harley Pasternak is Kanye's physical trainer, personal trainer. I don't know what he is. But
is that the one who threatened to have him just psycho warded while he was dating Kim?
Threatened to put him in the psycho ward.
Just having that power over him.
And that's crazy. But also,
well, what if this is some MK Ultra stuff?
That's what I'm going at. Pasternak comes from Canadian military intelligence.
Mm-hmm. So what if he's hired by the government to be Kanye's handler for a while they had him on some...
That's crazy, right?
Like
they had him on lithium,
mm-hmm.
and apparently they pulled him off lithium just overnight, just like they didn't wean him off of it.
Or like, let's say we're doing that whole, this is the hand you're looking at, this is the hand that's doing something. Let's say this entire time they had him on that stuff just to prime up, so that when they wanted a distraction, they could just pull all that away and have him go boom.
That's the big question, because lithium, when you're taking off lithium too fast, you have manic. Mm-hmm. Apparently, I don't know. I've never been on lithium.
Yeah,
but lithium to me sounds like a 1950. Oh no, that's Valium. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know. What if this is a MK? So what would they be doing? What does let's say the government is posing this. What do they have to gain from doing this? Would it be, one, it's going to knock Trump down?
Yes.
Okay.
And for lots of reasons, like they hid a certain laptop that we're not probably allowed to talk about.
Sure.
They, so I can see them not liking Trump, but why? Because he didn't, as much as I wanted Trump to take down all these 3-letter agencies, because I don't like any of them, he didn't take any of them down a peg. He didn't destroy those bad apples. He just left him in the basket.
It's a good point.
And so I could see them not wanting him before he was president, because that's kind of what he was saying he was doing. I'm going to drain the swamp. And I wanted that swamp drained. I really, really wanted that swamp drained. But that's one thing I can now.
It got deeper and murkier while he was in office.
Yep, that's one thing I can say I didn't like about Trump. Now, overall, since I've been, alive, I'd have to say he's probably the best president we've had in my lifetime, which sounds extra depressing saying it out loud, but that's life. I wanted him to destroy the swamp.
Well, that's the question. What could be going on? And me, I don't care. I'm just going to enjoy the show. I'm not impressed with any of our politics right now. So I'm just going to enjoy the show. But okay, they could be knocking Trump down. Fuentes could be looking for clout.
Mm-hmm.
Milo could be the reason to knock Trump down, because maybe he feels betrayed that Trump didn't come and, rescue him while he was floundering.
Well, what if this has nothing to do with Trump? This is just another distraction. Like, it will knock Trump down and they don't care. But what if this isn't?
Because it's not that big of. This is like a politically addicted people stuff. How many people actually know about what is going on? Did you know about Kanye?
I knew a bit about Kanye. I didn't know everything, but I'm thinking maybe it's more of a domino effect. This is the first stages of a bigger distraction.
Well, what could be going next?
So next, they'll knock Trump down. Trump will kick up a bunch of stink. That'll cause the Republican Party to kick up a bunch of stink. And then there will be both Republicans and Democrats just extra fighting each other. And while everyone's paying attention to this big domino falling over here, the hand's going to remove something from the table.
Yeah.
The hand's going to take something or add something that we didn't even notice was there.
Well, here's the deal. If I was either one of the parties, I would not be wanting to gain power right now.
No.
Because we're having a lot of financial issues.
Oh, yeah. No.
I mean, right now you got the railroad strike thing that's not cured at all.
No, that's not cured. Where energy
you got Ukraine
dysfunctional right now. We got Ukraine and Russia. There's a lot going on.
I would not want to be in charge during the collapse. I don't want to be the king of rubble.
No.
And whoever wins whoever's on top. That party's going to take the blame.
Yeah.
And it's going to knock it. And maybe it'll reshuffle the parties. Maybe we'll see a new party arise,
Hopefully we get rid of all the old parties and start with some new ones.
But man, that's just crazy. Watching Kanye. Yeah, Kanye, he's going hard right now. He's going hard, and he starts right into it. And he's not going to be able to recover from this. He's younger than I am. So he's still got a long life ahead of him. And who knows? Maybe he will. I don't know. Maybe they'll come up with an excuse or a reason. But man, this is going to get...
It's going to get muddier before the water gets clean.
Man, it's going to be wild. And then they had that shooting at the Club Q in Colorado Springs.
Yeah,
the city you grow up in.
Sad event. Like any shooting, doesn't matter who to who, is a sad event.
It is, but
we should not take violence like that to do anything.
There's a lot of craziness around it. There's no conspiracy surrounding that. The kid is a nutcase, and we'll go into him in a second. His dad is the real nutcase, meth addicted Mormon Republican conservative is what he calls himself. Oh, ex-porn star.
No,
all of that stuff.
That all sounds real conservative to me, but then again, conservatives don't sound real conservative to me anymore.
That's a collage of House of Mirrors right there. Anyways, so the kid gets popped for a bomb threat. I think it was 6 months ago or so, or a year ago. I don't know what the police could have done. He just did a bomb threat. He didn't actually build a bomb, so maybe because it's just word of mouth, or maybe he did build a bomb. I don't know, but they didn't pop him for it, which I don't really want a world that if you say something that you can be held accountable for it, because you might say something in jest and someone not even a part of the conversation. Next thing you know, you're in bracelets. And I don't care what it is. I want to make sure that intent or actions are what you're punished for, not words. But
an armed society is a polite society. I'm thinking everyone should get guns.
Well, I agree. But anyway, so the kid goes into Club Q, which is a club I have been to when I was in the Army there. What was it? I was in the Army, and a girl I was dating, her cousin, brother or something. This is 27 years ago, or 20 years ago. No, 28 years ago now, or 29 years ago, before you were even, no, just after you were born. So 27 years ago. Her cousin was doing a drag performance, and she asked me to come, and I went down there. And
I'm learning stuff about my old man. I didn't want to. He went there volunteer. There was no girl involved. He just went there. He was a part of the show. I swear.
Hey, I look good in heels. Anyways.
I thought you were going to say stilettos, but that's okay.
Yeah, but not stilettos. I can't walk in those. But anyways, if I remember, if this is the same place, it was off of Nevada Avenue in like a strip mall. And you know, it was no big deal. We watched a lip sync thing, and then it was over. But so the guy goes in there, has a AR-15. He shoots like 5 people right off the bat, injures a few more. I mean, he kills 5 if I remember. But then a guy that just got out of the Army, you know, a couple of years back, grabs him, and then
I think it was a police officer who was in drag.
A trans person, and I don't know if it was a person in drag or a trans person.
It was something along those lines. We don't want to hurt anyone.
But they beat the tar out of this guy. If you look up the pictures of him, and you can watch the video of him being arraigned, he can't hardly talk. They pummeled him. And then I guess more people joined in. It was like 5 people that pummeled him. So good on them. The guy that just got out of the Army, I think, was there with his daughter and her boyfriend or partner, you know, and, you know, I don't know. I guess being in the military maybe does teach you some life skills. But, yeah, but that was sad. That was a sad deal. Whatever the kid's cause for, or the guy's cause for doing this, his name was Anderson. Oh, man. That's name your kid Anderson as a first name is rough. But yeah, I don't know, just that
his name should have been Anderson, and then his last name should have been Smith.
It's like Anderson Abernathy.
Yeah.
Man, tough name. But it's awful, and I don't know.
I don't condone any action he take.
Never. No. Not the bomb threat, and definitely not the assaulting the club. But yeah, things are popping off, guys. It's getting wild. I'm gonna keep watching this Kanye West thing. I think we're gonna see Kanye West come out of this in the next couple weeks, and I think we're gonna see him disappear off the map, check himself into a clinic, things like that. Nick Fuentes, I don't know. If Milo is acting honestly, I'd like to know what his motives are for tying in with this message. Because I don't know. To me, because Milo seems to fade into the background whenever this message comes up loud in any of their conversations. He does a Homer Simpson into the bush. You know, he just disappears into it. And Nick Fuentes, who's already that way, is right out in front.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to further mar him, but I think he's okay with that. But Kanye's the one. I don't know if he comes out of this. I don't know. And then you've got the Baleago they were making stuffed animals that were wearing S&M like bands. But then the big thing in the picture, they had a court case that I haven't read it. I don't know anything about it, but apparently it's a court case that was a ruling on child porn
because they had kids. Because they had kids there.
But they had kids in the set. But it was on I don't know. It's a whole thing. I decided not to look into that one too much but that's why Kanye supposedly wore the mask on Alex Jones. It's all
okay. Well, if that's why he wore it, it was completely unclear. It looked like he was more unhinged. He still looks more unhinged, but such is life.
What he was, he had a net that had a yoo-hoo in it, and he called it Netanyahu for Bibi Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. And so he was very unhinged.
Okay, so seeing connections for things that he's saying
wasn't just that, but him saying that he
loved a certain Austrian painter. I heard that.
Yeah, loved a certain Austrian painter, loved a certain political party of said Austrian painter. You know, it went awry.
Ate me commies, ate me fascists.
Yeah.
Simple as.
Yeah. Well, they're both big government folks.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Wow, ate me big government. Wow.
So we're going to end it there unless you guys have something you want to bring up. Thanks for joining us on this Out of Time show. Hopefully Betsy will be back with us on Thursday. You might see Alex more often, bringing him on. He wants to try his hand at this stuff. And so here he is showing up to the party.
Whoop.
If you guys hear anything that I haven't covered or any thoughts, feel free to email me. I'm not going to judge anyone on what their thoughts on it are. Well, you may get judged if you're crazy. Like, well, I don't know. If you say the lizard people are in control, I'm leaning into that because it's showing. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. You know, my email, jared@thewildpod.com. Let me know what you hear, what you think, or if there's anything I missed.
Also, let him know if you want to see more of this handsome mug right here.
Yeah, we'll bring him on. Yeah, and other than that, you guys have a wonderful beginning